Welcome to the evening tea show with me, Dmitry, where we are experimenting on another alternation of the format for my channel, so do let me know how you find it, where we will take a look at the latest news that attract my attention in the automotive industry. Looks like Chery is planning to bring an electric version of Omoda E5 to the Australian shores, which is interesting because the more of variety on our shows, the merrier. But as the title suggests, do we need another EV, another cheap, especially EV, cheap segment EV, budget-friendly EV in Australia? Well, it's your guess and mine whether or not it's a good move on Chery brand's side, just as they are planning to bring in Jetour brand into Australia in the second half of 2024. As we know, there is certainly appetite still for the 5-seater SUVs, I do believe that, but is there appetite for more EVs? You know how I feel about EVs. I do think that obviously the brands are trying to compete with each other, and in order to have a presence on the market, and if other brands are bringing out EVs, MG is bringing out EVs, GWM is bringing out EVs, obviously BYD is all EVs, and so on and so forth. So obviously Chery feels that they need to be, in order to be tussling with the big boys, it needs to bring out an EV. I understand from the marketing standpoint as to even Toyota has an EV. So I understand from the marketing standpoint why they are doing this, but do we really need one? Judging by the press release, by at least this kind of stuff, looks kind of like Omoda E5. So once again, I'd say the front of it is a little more universally appealing, I would dare say, because it looks a little bit more modern, a little more robocopy, if that's your thing, but it certainly competes with something like Hyundai. Yep, looks like Hyundai to me a little bit, maybe BYD a little bit. But it certainly is a little less polarizing, in my humble opinion, than that grille that normal Omoda E5 has. Like, that one with the sparkly front, the one that I have reviewed plentifully. We looked at this. I think that front of Omoda E5 is probably the most polarizing aspect of the vehicle currently. So the rest of the car looks pretty much copy-paste. Not copy-paste, but very, very similar design, I would dare say. But the front is very different, and I prefer this. I do prefer this. They're not releasing the pricing just yet, at least at the moment of publishing of this video and me reviewing this news bit. But at the same time, they're saying that it will be competitive. Well, of course it will be competitive, otherwise no one will take it seriously. So that's a bit of a duh statement, especially as Chery tries to quite aggressively compete with other brands on the market. That doesn't surprise me at all. That is to be expected, for the lack of a better word. Yep. Okay. The looks, again, like I said, probably less polarizing than your normal Omoda E5, so okay, has the right to exist. The boot space is going to be non-existent. The rear space, the leg room for the rest passengers is going to be non-existent. You can pretty much bet money on it. The front is going to be pleasant for 2 passengers. What about, so the natural competitors, as they're saying, are BYD Atto 3 and MG4 EV. Okay, I have not reviewed Atto 3, but I have reviewed MG4 in case you're looking for that information from me in this kind of conversational way. I have no idea what vehicle to load technology is, but they're indicating that that's what they're bringing here. Okay. Let's take a look. So it's a single front-mounted electric motor. It's not a dual-motor electric vehicle, so it's not going to particularly boast any power, but you don't expect it from this little semi-plastic vehicle to boast particular power. That's okay. It's a front-wheel drive. It is more than expected for the city. Power is 150 kilowatts. Okay. Torque is 340 Newton meters. That's okay as well. Acceleration speed, you're not going to be racing in this car, so seems all right. Brake towing capacity, no comment. You're not going to be towing in this unless you need medical attention. Efficiency, let's take a look at this. This is where it gets a bit interesting. So it says that the indicated range is 430 kilometers on the full power. If it can do that, that's a pretty good indicator, I'd say. Like, it sort of is what you would expect currently from the EVs of speculatively this price segment. But once again, that's speculative because we don't know how much it will cost. That's very, very important. And they're talking about it being able to be charged from 30 to 80%. That's an interesting indicator. Why 30? Why not 0? Okay, fine. To 80% in under 30 minutes, but that's using a fast charger if you have it installed in your garage somewhere and you paid for it, obviously. So that is extra cost over here. All right, dimensions, I don't care. Do you care? Tell me in the comments down below, but I think that this is pretty much comparable to Omoda 5, all right, at least on the first kind of initial impression. Servicing and warranty, they are saying that it will be backed up, the E5 will be backed up by a 7-year unlimited kilometer vehicle warranty. You gotta say, and we have to give credit where it's due, I think that that's appealing to an Australian consumer because you're buying a new vehicle. My guess is it's going to be pushing $40,000, probably somewhere in the ballpark of 40. Yeah, is what I think is reasonable to assume here. And unlimited kilometer and 7-year warranty is pretty good. It's pretty good considering that this is a brand that is not retracting from the shores or not trying to go like very conservative, but it's trying to invest more into the shores. So I'd say if EVs are your cup of tea, so far so good from what I'm seeing. Tell me what I'm missing in case some of this kind of speaks to you and I'm really missing it. I always welcome your opinion here. What else is standing out to me? All right, they're offering 7 years of roadside assistant and 7 years of capped price servicing. That is appealing as well. I'm sure you're not going to disagree with me. But pricing is to be detailed. So you know what? I'm just going to put an asterisk here. I think that's a fair thing to do. So Euro NCAP, and NCAP is yet to test the Omoda E5. So if the NCAP rating is important to you, which it should be, I think, for the safety of yourself and your passengers, not that many passengers that you can put into this car. It's going to be mostly for yourself and for your partner, perhaps. But this is important and not yet specified. All right, we'll have to wait. It has 18 kinds of intelligent driving assist functions, if that's important to you. Of course it is. But if they're gonna go that way that I have reviewed in the normal Omoda 5, where the driving monitor, and in Tiggo 7 Pro, the driving monitor can be on the invasive side. If they go that way, I'm out. I'm not interested, and I don't know how many of you will be. It's really invasive. It really interferes with your driving. But if they're gonna go mild, or they're gonna allow you to tune down the sensitivity and that it's not gonna interfere with your driving, such as GWM's Haval H6 had, and I complained about it enough, and I will continue hammering it until they fix it. So it all depends on. It depends. Basically, it depends on the level, and it depends on how much of the driver controlled sensitivity we are dealing with there. So adaptive cruise control to be expected, autonomous emergency braking, yes. Lane keep assist is I don't like lane keep assist because I only have one good example of lane keep assist where it's non-invasive but actually helpful, and it is in my Subaru Outback. It's fantastic, by the way. But in Haval it was horrible. In Chery, it's a different brand. Let's give them benefit of the doubt here, but that's, basically it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen is my initial kind of impression here. But once again, I would like to invite you into the comments and let's share our impressions. I'm sharing mine with you, you share yours with me. And don't forget to have a tea with me in this new experimental format of the video. And give it a like, by the way, if you haven't already, because that's the only way for you, other than talking, to tell me that you enjoy this. Why not? More content for you, pleasant enough for me to produce. All right, all Omoda E5 models, that's a final bit, will come with front side, front center, and curtain airbags. Okay, safety, all these things we can expect. Standard equipment, let's go. There are 2 Omoda E5 trims that's going to be available. BX is going to be the base version, and EX is going to be the premium version. 18-inch alloy wheels even on the base version. Not bad. If you like bigger wheels, I do. It's great. But looks like it's the same size wheel goes for both premium and base. Okay, fair enough. And somewhere there above as well as over here, they're pointing out that it's rare for EVs to have a full-size spare wheel. But here, that's what they're promising. So that's cool. That's cool. That's not too bad. The instrument cluster, digital instrument cluster, and touchscreen infotainment system are rather big. So 12.3 inch, that's a big one. That's a rather big one. And considering that they're usually hiding majority of controls within those infotainment screens these days, the bigger, well, kind of the better, to be honest with you. The EX adds to the would lovely to know the price. Okay, the price is gonna talk in this particular case, right? But the EX will have a power tailgate, which is actually wonderful. Now that I have one in my Subaru Outback, I can tell you that power tailgate is not a gimmick, it's great. Paddle lights, whatever that means. Power sunroof, you know how I feel about in Australia specifically. It's an absolute gimmick. You don't need it. Showroom floors need it. They attract you and your wife to buy one, you know, but in Australian sun, you absolutely don't need this. Sony speaker sound system, okay, I'm gonna say that it's great. Ambient lighting, no one needs, no normal person needs. Leatherette upholstery, probably is gonna be lovely. I'm guessing. Heated front seats, absolutely using it in my Subaru Outback on the cold mornings in Sydney, absolutely do. Heated outboard rear seats, probably can live without, considering that you can only put a really short-legged person there. I'm not even going to say kids there, because I just don't think that rear row of seats is particularly usable when you're comfortably sitting and leaning back in your front seats. That's what I'm thinking. And leatherette wrapped steering wheel, which is nice, and we sort of expected in MG we have that coming out of the box, but at the same time that's hardly a showstopper. You can absolutely just buy a cheap, nice leatherette wrap and put it on just a normal standard plastic steering wheel. It doesn't matter. Colors: Titan green, lunar white, satin silver, space black, and Martian red. Goodness me. It would be nice to see this car, obviously, in real life once it launches, but so far, let's just summarize. So we took a look at this. The interior looks nice enough, but everything looks nice enough on the promotional material. We've been reviewing the cars for a long time here on this channel, and if that's all we have to go by, well, they have polished this within an inch of its life. We cannot go off this. But overall, the look looks all right. It looks all right. The front looks less polarizing. The specs look appealing enough. So my main question remains only whether it will be NCAP rated. In case it's important to you, it should be. And how much they're going to be selling it for. If it pushes 45,000, I would say it's not worth it. Simply because it's a small vehicle from an emergent brand that invests into our shores, but so far we have no reasons to believe that they have particular longevity on the market. Of course, we have mild weather conditions. It's not Russia for you. It's not going to be salt on the roads where it's going to rust or whatever. So we don't have those factors. But at the same time, you have to be thinking about this, okay? And a whole bunch of other things that I can rant on about, but I think that's enough for an initial impressions video and experimental test of this format of talking to you, my friends. And I just basically think that the more competition, the merrier. So I think in terms of other brands trying harder on the pricing and on the quality of the vehicles, I think that's a good thing. So overall, it's a good thing to have competition on the market. But at the same time, do we need yet another EV within the same rapidly getting saturated market of these mid kind of range EVs, 5-seaters? I don't know. I'm not convinced, but this is exactly where you come in, and that's where exactly your homework is. So finish your tea. I just finished mine, and post a comment below and let me know, what do you think? Do you like this front, for example? Do you just like it? Like I think it's all right. I think it's all right. I kind of like it. But how much would you pay for it? I probably would not pay more than 40. I would not pay more than 40 for this. If they can keep this under 40, I think they can be really competitive. But that's just my opinion, one man's opinion. I'd like to thank you for tuning in, especially if you watched the whole video into 14 minutes of it. That's lovely of you. You are very special. I look at the YouTube algorithm kind of analytics, and I notice that where people drop off. So there are only a handful of you who watch my full videos. Really appreciate you. Give the video a like before you go, goes a long way. And expect more videos from me coming still at you at the rate of at least one video per week. Thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to tell me if you like this vehicle, give the video a like, and I'll talk to you next time.